first off, let's talk about foolishness. Foolishness is necessary. Foolishness is uncomfortable, but if you didn't read my newsletter last week, what I was talking about is how you really, if you really want to live a kick-ass life, you have to be willing to make a fool of yourself. You have to be willing, Saturday was April Fool's Day, right? That's why I wrote this around the time that I did. I love April Fool's Day. I think it's a lot of fun. And it's fun to play jokes on people, but it did also get me thinking, like, you know what, geez, anytime I have really gone after something in my life, I had to be willing to roll with the punches if I made mistakes, or if I fell on my face, figuratively or literally. But I had to be willing to make mistakes and to roll with the punches and be willing to do trial and error. It's like I think of my life as a laboratory or a laboratory, depending on how you say it. And I'm like a mad scientist. So I'm going to have things that I want to do in my life that is going to require me to just give things a shot, not always know exactly how to do it. Like most things, when you're trying something new or trying to initiate some sort of change in your life, you can't possibly know everything that lies ahead of you. And I have found that it's actually better to not, because the more you can practice surrendering and just going with the flow a little bit more, as difficult as it can be, I've often found myself in positions better than I could have ever imagined. Things always work out for the best, that saying. But I really do believe that the universe can dream a bigger dream for you than you ever could for yourself. So by letting yourself fumble along, make some mistakes, look like a fool, it's just all part of the journey. And the more loving we can be to ourselves and the more compassionate we can be toward ourselves, the more willing we are to take risks. So, as I had mentioned, we've talked over the past few weeks, we've talked a lot about like going after your dreams and chasing your goals and what that takes. And, this week is really about just that, like being willing to be a fool. So to get into the kind of fool vibe, anyone, feel free to share like any of your favorite April Fool's Day jokes that you've either pulled in the past on people or that people have pulled onto you. It's kind of a fun way to like get into this conversation. I will share a couple of my famous previous jokes that really have had quite staying power. So let's see, back in college, so many years ago, I had a couple roommates. And Melissa was a roommate of mine as well. And she and I, when our roommates, Karen and Renee, who you sometimes see on this chat, Karen and Renee were out, probably partying with their sorority for April Fool's Day. And we decided to turn their dorm room, their bedroom, we lived in a townhouse, so their bedroom completely upside down. Like everything that you can imagine in the room, we flipped upside down. Pictures on the wall, we flipped and hung them backwards. All of their cassettes and CDs, because that's, what we listened to back then. Well, mostly cassettes, actually. We flipped them all upside down in their holders. Their clothes in their closet, we turned them inside out and rehung them. Went into their drawers, flipped everything, flipped their mattress over. So the top was against the box spring. I think we even flipped over like their chairs and we just flipped over everything, and you should have seen their faces when they got home. First of all, they were probably a little tipsy. But man, when they ever came back and saw it, literally to this day, and we're talking, do I really want to say how long ago it was? Let me think. I'm really trying to do the math. So, probably more than 20 years ago at this point. They will still bring it up to me. They will still message me and be like, oh my God, remember April Fools back in college? So that was one that was such a blast. And there's a picture on Facebook that I often share with them just as a little reminder. So that was so much fun. And then the other one that stands out that I had done on people this is when I worked at the magazine. And I was the managing editor of a magazine. A friend of mine, a coworker, was a sales manager there. Her name's Nolene. And she I moved her car in the parking lot, and so she would think it was stolen. And so, then I talked her into going out to lunch together. So I said, hey, why don't you drive, whatever. So we went out to the parking lot, and went to a parking spot, and she was like, where the hell is my car? And she had just gotten like a brand new Infinity? Yeah, it was like a really fancy car for the time. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. She's like, it was right here. Where the hell is my car? And she started to freak out. And so as she's walking around, she's trying to press like the panic button on her key fob to try to make her car make the sound. And I parked it way far away. So as it's making the sound, I'm talking to her louder so she can't hear it. And she's trying to be so polite, God bless her. And she was like, yeah. And she's trying to answer me as I'm talking. And then finally she's like, would you shut the F up? I can't find my car, but I hear it. And so that was quite fun as well. Love it. All right, so let's see. Kathy, marshmallow picking. You can see the pic on my Twitter from Saturday. All right, I'll have to check that out, Kathy. Tricked my daughter a few years ago by convincing her that it was Christmas morning and that she also for 8 months. Oh, she slept 4. Oh my God, that she slept for 8 months. Oh my God, that's awesome. Oh, that's a good one. Leah Marie, 29 years, LOL. Wait, what? Are you trying to say I was in college 29 years ago? Oh, so I don't think so. Not quite yet. Anyway, so yeah. So just think about, like, even when you play an April Fool's joke on someone or they play one on you, like, it can be frustrating, but it can be fun, right? It can just be silly, and it's like, you know what? It's a good it's like my friend Nolene with the car, or my college roommates with their room turned upside down. Could they have gotten really pissed? Yeah, but instead it was just like, you know what? This is funny. I'm just going to roll with it. Oh yeah, Lee Marie, no, I was not in college 29 years ago. Jesus, how old do you think I am? Not that it would be fine if it was 29 years ago, but it wasn't, right? Shit. Better not have been. No, it was 1993. Anyway, digress. So, so it's that kind of like, if you think about what goal you want to go for, what change you want to make in your life, like what dream you want to fulfill, inevitably, on the journey to it is going to be times that you fumble and make mistakes. Thank you, Lindsay. 23 years. Yes. It'll be 24 years in May. Thank you, Lindsay. Pooh. So, yeah, so it's, thinking about, am I willing to make a fool out of myself to have the life I want? And, I mean, really, think about it. Any of you, think of anything that you have accomplished in your life thus far. It can be small, it can be huge, it doesn't matter. Think of any success or accomplishment that you have had in your life thus far, and I guarantee you'd be able to think of something along the way where you got tripped up. I mean, think of any learning curve, right? If you were learning how to drive, or you're learning a new job, or learning, settling into a new relationship, like anytime there's a learning curve, there are going to be mistakes. And if you hold yourself to this standard that you have to, like, be perfect, or you have to be able to do it right the first time, you're always going to be too scared to risk, or to start something, or to go after something. Missy, same person, no matter what word I use, is a self-proclaimed perfectionist. And that can really get in her way when it comes to wanting to go after some sort of goal, because she feels like everything has to be done just so. Like, I saw her when we were at the, she's not on the call, on the video right now, so I can talk about her. Just kidding, it's recorded, so how bad can it be? But we were at the tiny house build site today, right, doing some things. And we were just making some temporary stairs to get into the house, because it's, it's on a trailer, so it's pretty high up. So we were just, out of like pallets and some scrap wood, we were making some stairs to get into the tiny house, easier than like climbing into it. And I could see as, she was kind of instructing me what to do, because she's more handy in that regard than I am. As she was instructing me on what to do and how to, oh, can you just put some screws there and just nail that in there? And I could see her wanting like things to be like lined up just right. And I looked at her and I said, these are such like hack stairs. Don't worry about it. We're throwing a pellet on a pellet with a, scrap wood onto. It doesn't have to be pretty. They just have to be functional. They are not permanent structures. It's a temporary solution. But I could see, she had to really hold herself back from critiquing my work or from having it be just so before it could be completed, where I'm more of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of gal. I'm like, you know what? I'll just hammer this, screw this, whatever. If it's good enough, it's good. Like, I'm fine with good enough. So that really serves me when I'm looking to get something done. Where it cannot serve me is I may not do things as thoroughly or as carefully as some situations call for. Hasn't really messed with me too much as of yet, but really, like, part of, what I had said to Miss is part of her being able to have the life she wants means that she's going to have to get comfortable with good enough, going to have to get comfortable with making mistakes, learning as you go, that kind of thing. So that's part of, like, when you think about the past couple weeks when we've talked about, like, what is that big dream that you want to go for that you think there's no way that that's possible. Part of your block that convinces you that it's not possible is the idea that you have to have it all figured out before you can even get started. And while yes, it's good to have some sort of framework, some sort of loose plan, you don't have to have every single step outlined in order to get started. Inevitably, and I know you've all experienced this, inevitably, the best laid plans always end up changing. It's like either John Lennon's quote that says, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Life still goes on. You can spend all your time planning and strategizing, and while you're doing that, life is just passing you by. So have a loose framework, have a loose sense of what you want to accomplish, or what you want to do, or what goal you want to achieve. And then just get going, like, get moving on it. The more energy you put behind your intention, the more the wheels stay in motion. If you're waiting for everything to be perfect, you're just going to stay stuck and you're never going to get things going. And that's when you're going to feel like a victim to your life, right? You're going to feel like, oh my God, nothing ever lines up for me. Everything's always a challenge. I can't seem to get anything moving. So if you're waiting for things to be perfect before you take any action, you are very unlikely to take action. And then you stay in that rut. And that's when you, like we talked a little bit about last week, that's when you dread your birthday, right? Because it marks the passing of another year, and it makes you think, oh my God, here's another year come and gone, and I still haven't done fill in the blank. Whereas taking some action on your goals and dreams, when that birthday comes, it's more of a celebration of where you are versus where you were the previous birthday, right? So that's always a good indicator, like looking at, do I get excited for my birthday or do I dread my birthday? It's more for the people who are a little bit older, like me, like not people in their 20s. I mean, I think people in their 20s, although some dread their birthdays, but you just got so much life ahead of you that it's easy to be like, yeah, I'm excited for my birthday, even if life isn't fantastic. But even that, like, I've talked to 20-year-olds who are like, man, I just, that whole thing that we say, I really thought I would be someplace else by now, whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, or 60. We have all said that to ourselves, like, man, I really thought my life would look like this by now. And it doesn't. So that's when I want you to really take ownership and go, what am I willing to do to put action behind my intention of having this kick-ass life? You've heard me use this example again and again, but, I certainly have to be willing to look like a fool as I build this tiny house, whether it's just from people who think that I'm nuts for wanting to live in such a small space, albeit temporarily, or that we want to build it ourselves, mostly, that we want to travel the country. Like some people can be like, oh my God, that's so exciting. But there's also those naysayers and those doubters. And so if they think I'm a fool, then they think I'm a fool. So there's that combination of being willing to look like a fool and learning to not care so much what other people think. So Mary, I will be 50 next month, and I feel the most content I have in past years. Man, I hear that a lot, Mary, like 40, 50, like you just get into that place where you just care less what people think, right? Happy early birthday, by the way. Yeah, you just care less what people think. You know, I was talking to my sister Lisa about this the other day. We were driving in the car together, and she had read my newsletter from last week, and I in it talked about how, you know, there's a rare person who doesn't care what other people think. And she was saying how she truly is one of those people, and she is. I said to her, you know, it's such a gift. You know, if you can give me the special solution, tell me what it is, because she says she truly doesn't care what other people think, and like in the healthiest way, that she just lives her life. And if someone doesn't like something that she does or has an opinion of her, she can't be bothered. And I tell you, that is utopia. That would be a beautiful place. I don't know if there's anyone else here who truly doesn't give a shit what anyone thinks of you. I mean, it's Leah Marie, I always feel like I need to do something on my birthday. I used to love it, but now it's just another day. Yeah, there's that pressure, right? I know your birthday's coming up, Leah Marie. There is that pressure of like, oh my God, what do I have to do? And it might be that what you want to do is just chill. Like, it doesn't have to be, you know, Missy just asked me the other day, because my birthday's at the end of April. She's like, your birthday's coming up. What do you want to do? And I get like stressed. Like you said, I get, oh my God, what do I want to do? I should really do something. Well, I don't know. Like, I enjoy my birthday, and I think it's nice, but, and I never wanted to be that person who said it's just another day. But sometimes it can feel that way. But, you know, what's interesting, Leah Marie, as you say that, and as I'm responding to it, having it feel like just another day is actually not a bad thing. You know, when I would hear people say that, like, you know, it's just another day, and I would get mad, like, no, it's not. It's your birthday. It's a very special day. But I think that there's something really beautiful and poetic about it being just another day. Because that could mean that you're so content in your life that you don't need this one day a year to celebrate yourself. That if you feel happy and fulfilled, like, it doesn't have to just happen on this one day. Lindsay, yeah, like I should plan something for my birthday. My birthday stresses me out, makes me think I need to do something huge or spectacular. Exactly. That's why Melissa hates New Year's Eve, because she feels that way about New Year's Eve. She's cool with her birthday, not doing anything major, but same thing, like, it's so stressful. And that is something, like, who cares, like, if you don't do something fantastic? Like, what does that mean? That's that whole, like, that's kind of a version of being willing to look like a fool, right? So, you know, maybe people might think I'm foolish for not doing something major for my birthday. Well, I don't have to. Like, I'm totally fine with not, like, I still celebrate myself. I'm still happy that it's my birthday, but I don't need to do anything major. So that's someplace that's like, you don't have to do something huge or something spectacular. It's like, just do something that's going to make you happy. And if it's not, you know, like, people will often say to me, like, oh, you know, you guys are going to go out for a nice dinner and this and that. And it's like, we don't want to spend our money on, like, a fancy dinner. That's not something that's important to me. I'd rather spend my money on a movie, or I'd rather go do something, like go for a hike in a beautiful area. So it's just about, like, doing you, right? Like, what do I want to do, and not what does society tell me I should do. Whether it's your birthday, whether it's New Year's Eve, whether it's whatever. Same thing with your life and your goals and your dreams. Like, what is it you want to do versus what others think you should do? You know, it's really difficult to to kind of go against the norm. But man, if you're just constantly trying to fit into some sort of societal box, you'll just be perpetually unhappy. Yeah, Sarah, I mean, that's the stuff that I love. Like, I usually do go for some like beautiful nature walk on my birthday. I might go for a hike. I might go geocaching. Like, I tend to want to spend it outside. So society tells me I should get 26 balloons and put it on Facebook, but it's not what I want. Yeah, then I challenge you, Lindsay, to not do it. Like, I challenge everyone this year for whenever your birthday is, really think about what's a great way for me to spend my day. Celebrate Lee Birthday Week. Yes. Her birthday is April 10th. But like, what is it that I want to do for my birthday? You know, this is the other thing with like being willing to play the fool, or, you know, when you do something, we'll use the birthday as an example because it's a great example. When you are willing to honor yourself on your birthday or any other day in a way that is authentic and true to who you are and not what others think you should do, it is such an act of self-love. And self-confidence goes up, self-worth goes up. When all of those levels increase, you are much more willing to take risks, to get out of your comfort zone, to stretch a little bit. And we know that that's where life happens. The more you get out of your comfort zone, the bigger your comfort zone becomes. So it's easier to get out of your comfort zone when you trust yourself. And we build trust in ourselves by doing things that we want to do versus what everyone else wants us to do. So Mary said, everyone wanted me to have a huge 50th birthday party. I said, hell no, I want to travel with my friends. So done. Oh, myself and 6 girlfriends are off to Myrtle Beach for 5 days. I love that, Mary. That is so perfect. Perfect example, right? Oh, but come on, you're supposed to have a big 50th birthday party, and that's what you're supposed to do. Well, that's not what you want to do. So I love it. You and some good friends are going off on a vacation. Brilliant. I think that's such a good idea. Kathy, I spend a whole week of self-care and doing special things for myself in the week leading up to my birthday. I love it. So that's how you love to spend it. It's like that. When you honor yourself in that way, you deepen that relationship with yourself that then makes it so much easier to take risks. Sarah, I feel calm and excited at the same time as you describe that. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that it's so revolutionary to do something the way we want to do it versus the way other people think we should. It's crazy that that's a revolutionary idea, but it is. We are so conditioned and trained to toe the line and not break norm and not go against the status quo. Like, I know, I mean, again, I hear this all the time from people. I know people think I'm nuts for selling my home. I know my family misses that home. I do too. But people are like, oh my God. You know, I just had one of my siblings ask me recently, like, oh, do you regret selling your house? I'm like, I sold my house like 2.5 years ago. No, when are you going to get over it? I mean, yes, do I miss it? Absolutely. But some people just can't wrap their head around my choices and my decisions, and they're personal to me. Same thing with birthday celebrations. Same thing with what your dreams and goals are. Like, they are personal to you. So really important that you get support for what you want to do from the people who can give you that kind of support best. And this week's newsletter that comes out on Thursday talks about the importance of support and accountability when you want to get shit done. But you know, it's just so important to have the right kind of support, the right people who will cheer you on and celebrate you, and who can really hold space for what it is you want to do for your life, whether it's go to Myrtle Beach for your 50th, that people can really hold space for that and park their own shit and celebrate you in what it is you want to do. We all tend to project our stuff onto others. People tend to project their stuff onto us. So it's all of our individual responsibilities to just remember to not own other people's shit. Pass the ball right back. I will make my family celebrate me too, haha. Spoil sauce, yeah. I think that's brilliant, Mary. So you go off with your friends, and your family wants to celebrate you. Go off with your friends, and then you come back and do something with your family. You know, I'm trying to think, my sister Michelle did that, like for her 50th. Oh, it says I'm cutting out a bit. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. For my sister's 50th, she, with a small group of friends and some family, went to Puerto Rico. Let me make sure that I'm not frozen. I'm pausing for a second in case I'm frozen. Where is my... One moment, everybody. If you can even hear me. If you can hear me, can you just type yes or give me a thumbs up or a heart? Because I see I'm frozen on my computer. Not frozen. Okay, thank you, Leah Marie. I'm frozen. Oh, good, Mary. I'm frozen on my laptop, so I didn't know if that was the case for everybody. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Bouncing my... Okay, good. I don't know why my laptop is all screwed up. Okay, good. Oh, hey, Dee Dee. Oh, good. I'm glad you can hear me. So, yeah, I mean, Mary, as I was saying, you know, my sister Michelle, who you know well, went to Puerto Rico with some friends for her 50th, but also had a family dinner. Those who didn't go to Puerto Rico, or, you know, people still want to celebrate you. So you can still do what you want to do, like go to Myrtle Beach, and then have a family celebration back at home. So there are ways to do these things in a really, like, that's the other important part, is that there are always options, right? Anytime that you feel like, I want to do this, but I feel like there's no way I can, there are always options. We almost always confuse a difficult choice with no choice at all. You always have a choice. You always have options. So as you're moving forward in your dreams and chasing your goals, even if you come up against something that's like, shit, I either do this and I look like a total fool, or I don't do it and then I stay stuck. There's all sorts of options in between. So if the idea of looking like a fool freaks you out, then your very next step isn't to do that foolish looking thing. Your very next step is to go, okay, what do I need to do to get more comfortable with the idea of looking like a fool? You know, when I wrote my newsletter last week, I mentioned in a traditional tarot deck, there's a card called the Fool. I don't know if any of you are familiar with tarot decks, and if I was really prepared, I would have a Fool card to hold up. But it's way over there. Is that true? Yeah, that's not a deck. Yeah, my deck is out of reach. But anyway, there is a card in a tarot deck that's called the Fool card. And a friend of mine is really adept at reading tarot, and she was saying, you know, people think that when you pull the Fool card, it's like, you know, it's because you're a fool. But really, it's about trust and taking chances. And if you were to look at the Fool card, and again, I put a picture in my newsletter last week, but the guy is carrying all of his belongings on a stick over his shoulder, you know, in a little sack. And I think in this particular card, he's reading a book as he's walking toward a cliff, and he's about to step off the cliff. And yes, does that look foolish? Yes, he's about to walk off a cliff. But it is also something about trust, right? Trusting and taking a chance and going for it. It's like he's just so in the moment that he's just going to go for it. And if he looks like a fool, he looks like a fool. Like, I loved that interpretation too, Kathy. You know, when I was talking to the friend of mine, I was like, oh my God, see, I'm not adept at reading tarot. I always have to refer to the book, but, you know, I would have just assumed that when you get the Fool card, it's because whatever you're thinking about is a foolish decision, let's say. But she was like, no, it's about self-trust and about taking chances and about, you know, calculated risks. It's like, you know, I think that there's something really cool about that. So when I heard her talking about that, which was another inspiration for writing that newsletter about looking like a fool, it's very empowering when you think about that you can hold a safe space for yourself to make mistakes, to have to write your course. Really, look at this huge mistake. We chose a contractor who didn't do a good job on our build. Do I feel foolish now for hiring someone who agreed to do such a complicated project at such a low price? Yes. Can I look back and go, you know what, Kerri? You even had a couple people warn you to the fact that, well, that's kind of crazy that he's willing to do it for that cheap. I checked that out, but that's not what I wanted to hear. So I was like, no, I checked it out. It's fine. It's going to be fine. I just wanted my project to move forward. So I chose to turn a blind eye to logic, and I ended up paying the price for it. But that is not a reason to abandon my dream. It's just like, okay, live and learn. Now I know better. And when you know better, you do better, right? Love that Maya Angelou quote. When you know better, you do better. So now I know better. Won't make that mistake again. With the tiny house or elsewhere, right? It's like I will do my best to have an analytical and critical mind when it comes to making certain decisions, but I'm not going to let it make me abandon my dreams and my goals. So I want to be like the fool in the tarot deck. I want to be able to just walk off. Kind of like just walk blindly and trust. It's like trust that, my wings will sprout and I will soar. I just think that where too much caution keeps you small, keeps you stuck, and it really teaches you to not trust yourself. It's another piece that I wrote in the newsletter is when you say you want to do something, when you want to move forward with a goal, but you don't take any action to support that intention, you really learn to not trust yourself. And when you breed that distrust, it's really difficult to make progress on anything. So it's so important. That's why I always talk about the small steps being like vital. You don't have to take huge leaps. If you take small, as consistent as possible action toward your dreams and goals, you build self-trust and self-confidence that you have what it takes to navigate any challenges that come up, to overcome any obstacles that get tossed in your way. You can knock any curveball out of the park. It's like really, it's so powerful. It's powerful on so many levels. Like you can't even get, like, it's hard to comprehend, like how many levels it impacts. Kathy, trusting our intuition is so important. Easy to get distracted by other people trying to put us at ease and ignore it though. Yes. Yeah, it's, I often say to my clients that your head will steer you wrong. Your gut never will. What's tricky is the head is so fast to jump into the conversation or jump into the thought process that, as soon as you try to listen to your gut and tune into your intuition, boom, there's your head trying to like circumnavigate you, right? Circumvent it. So the more you practice trusting your intuition, like you said, Kathy, the more you practice trusting that part of you, the more of a guide it becomes. And the less you doubt yourself. It's like, no, you know what? I know in my gut that something's not right. Like there was just something. Oh my God, this is such a ridiculous example, but I'm going to share it with you anyway. So we got Chinese food for dinner last night. And when we picked it up, we were coming home from somewhere. And when we picked it up, I said to Miss, yeah, we should probably check the bag. I feel like the order's not right. Now, I'm pretty intuitive in that regard anyway, but I just was like, and she's like, it's such a pain in the ass to tear it all apart. And I said, okay. I said, I just wanted to like say it because it was there for me, like whatever. And we're like, it's not a big deal if it is. And so we get home, as soon as I start unpacking it and start plating it for us, I see that there's no crab rangoon in the order, which is Missy's favorite. And I'm like, there's no crab rangoon. And she's like, God damn it. She's like, we need to learn to trust your intuition. I'm like, I know, but we just, it was so silly to like not check. But what's more important though is that seeing that as validation, it's like, you know what? I got a hit that something was not right with the order, and I didn't honor it. Not a big risk, not a big loss, right? But a really good sign to go, okay, Kerri, when you get a strong hit like that, pay attention to it. Yeah, that was no big deal, the Chinese food, but if there's something else, trust it. So I'll often work with my clients on practical ways to trust their intuition, to learn how to be in conversation with their gut. And, a really quick and easy exercise that I always give them is like literally start asking yourself, like when you're going to have dinner, let's say, and you're like, what do I want for dinner tonight? Do I want, pasta or fish? And just like tune in and go, what do I want? And try to get out of your head. Practice going right to your gut. Do I want pasta or fish? I want pasta. Okay, great. So now you can go ahead and have the fish if you want, but it's just a practical way to practice listening to your intuition. So if you start practicing that by using low risk decisions, like what do I want for dinner? It's like any other muscle, right? So yeah, Kathy's nodding. So it's like any other muscle. You're learning how to trust that part of you that is speaking to you, because I'm telling you, it has a lot to say. And when we capitalize on its wisdom, because man, oh man, is it smart. When we get into a relationship with it and capitalize on its wisdom, our life will be so much easier. So much easier. It's like, otherwise we're reinventing the wheel at every turn. So practice ways to trust your intuition. And again, this helps you if and when that time comes that you're feeling like, I'm going to look a total fool if I do this. Trust your intuition and go like, okay, but should I still give it a shot? It's really tricky when you want something to go a certain way, but your intuition is telling you something else. That's when it can be really hard. And when that happens, here's a good way to know when that's happening. If you find yourself talking to lots of different people about this particular decision that you want to make, and everyone's telling you the same thing that your gut is telling you, like, I don't think it's a good idea, but your head is really telling you, no, I want this to be a good idea. I really want this to be true. You will continue to ask people until you find someone who will agree with your head. So you will continue to ask people, well, what do you think? Well, what do you think? Well, what do you think? Until someone's like, yeah, you know what the hell, I say go for it. You're like, okay, yep. See, she thinks I should go for it too. I'm going to go for it. So when you find yourself chasing to find someone who will agree with you, you are intentionally ignoring your intuition and your gut. So what I want you to think about right now, as we're kind of wrapping up here, is to think about what in your life are you interested, like we've talked the past couple weeks, what in your life are you interested in pursuing right now? What goal, what vision, what change in your life do you want to make? And what is an action step that you know would likely be helpful, but you're hesitant because you fear looking foolish? And how can you intentionally practice trusting yourself more so you'll get less and less hesitant in the future? This is all in an effort to strengthen the muscle of risk-taking, of calculated risk-taking, but not overly calculating, but really taking some risks so you can get out of autopilot. You can stop sleepwalking through life. It's like, if you really want to mix things up, you have got to be willing to do trial and error, to make mistakes, to fall on your face, get back up and, dust yourself off. That is just part of it. And as long as you're not willing to do that, it's unlikely that you're ever going to be as fulfilled as you know you can be in your life. So this week, I just want you to think about, where can you take some more risks, even if it means looking a little silly, And how can you start to strengthen that self-trust muscle so you're not as scared in the future to step out of that comfort zone. So do some intentional stretching this week, and make a fool of yourself. And also, any of you from a couple weeks ago, any of you on here who took on my disappointing challenge, I believe Mary was one, Leah Marie was one. Does anyone want to give any updates about how their disappointing challenge is going? Are you disappointing people? Are you saying no more often? Are you putting your own needs first? Are you practicing being selfish because it's not a bad word? Comment, give me a heart, thumbs up, something if you have been disappointing people. If anyone is here who was not here for the disappointing conversation, I challenged anyone and everyone, excuse me, to intentionally disappoint at least one person a day, every day for 2 weeks. And that, Sarah's doing it. Good job, Sarah. Because that helps to take this, desensitize you to this fear that like everyone's going to hate you if you disappoint them. It's going to put your needs at a higher priority. When I say intentionally disappoint someone, I know that can sound cold and harsh, but trust me, if you're someone who needs the challenge, it's going to be anything but, So you're just going to cancel on something you agreed to. Mary, I have been good. I turned a client away that I just don't enjoy her in my chair. Love it, Mary. That's so good. That's really good as a business owner to fire a client. Yeah, be like, no thanks. Moving along. Good. So Mary's on top of it. Sarah's on top of it. Anyone else, feel free to pick up the challenge. And I wonder if... I'm brainstorming out loud. I'm not going to tell you what I'm brainstorming in case I choose to not do it. Anyway, so disappoint people this week. Find a way to get comfortable feeling foolish, making mistakes, trial and error. Again, you got to get in that arena. You got to get in there and try things out. Sitting on the stands is never going to make life better for you. So get in there, get dirty, make mistakes, and be like the fool in the tarot deck. Just trust. Trust. Go for it. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, it felt good, Mary. I bet it did. Awesome. So good. All right. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining me again. Sorry I was a little ill-prepared and scattered this week, just rushing in. So, again, make sure to sign up for my newsletter so you can get this week's newsletter and be in the know already for what next Monday's topic will be. That's at kerririchardson.com. Please feel free to share this video, like it, comment, etc. Remember, Facebook loves engagement. So thank you all so much for coming and chatting and sharing. Really appreciate it. Feel free to continue commenting on this, and I'll come back and check it from time to time. Otherwise, we will be here next week, same time, same channel. Bye, everybody. Thank you.